Welcome to AI for the People. Today we're doing a deep dive into a topic that's pretty important,
Yeah.
AI ethics.
AI ethics.
We're going to be talking about how technology really intersects with morality.
It's a fascinating area, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's something that I think more and more people are starting to pay attention to because we see the impact of AI everywhere.
Absolutely. It's not just a theoretical debate anymore.
Right.
It's having real-world consequences.
Okay, so we've got a bunch of research and news articles about moments in AI history that sparked ethical debates.
Hmm.
For example, did you know that Amazon had to scrap an entire AI recruiting tool?
Yes, it was actually biased against women.
Really?
It was downgrading applications if it saw the word women's on it, or if a candidate had attended a women's college.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, you would think a company like Amazon would have caught that.
You would think so, right? But
Mhm.
it just goes to show that even with the best intentions, AI systems can perpetuate existing biases,
Right.
especially if the teams building them lack diversity.
So are you saying that the people building the AI need to represent a wider range of backgrounds and perspectives?
Absolutely, because otherwise you're just going to get the same blind spots baked into the technology.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's not just gender bias either.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about that.
We've seen issues with facial recognition technology
Right.
that misidentifies people of color at alarming rates, leading to wrongful arrests in some cases.
Wow, that's really disturbing.
Yeah, it is.
So it seems like we're only scratching the surface of the problems here.
I think we are, and it's why this deep dive is so important.
Yeah.
AI is becoming more and more integrated into every part of our lives,
Yeah.
from healthcare to finance to even self-driving cars.
Mhm.
Understanding the ethical implications is crucial for everyone.
Speaking of self-driving cars, we actually have a story here about an accident where a self-driving Uber killed a pedestrian.
Yes, I remember that case. It was a real tragedy.
Yeah, it really was. And it raises a lot of questions about, who's actually accountable when an AI makes a life or death decision.
It's a really tough question,
Yeah.
and there's no easy answer.
Is it the programmer, the company,
Yeah.
the car owner?
Right. It's something that lawmakers and ethicists are grappling with right now.
Yeah.
But I think it underscores the need for very clear guidelines
Yeah.
and regulations as we start handing over more and more control to these machines.
So it's not just about making sure the AI works technically.
No.
It's about making sure it operates within a framework of human values.
Precisely, we need to ensure that these powerful technologies are used for good and that they don't end up causing more harm than benefit.
Okay, so let's talk about some ways people are trying to make AI development more responsible.
Sure.
We've got some information here about the OECD AI principles and the EU's AI Act.
Okay.
Are those good examples?
Yes, those are good examples.
Okay, tell me about them.
Well, the OECD AI principles, for instance, they emphasize things like transparency and accountability and fairness in AI development.
Okay.
The idea is to encourage innovation while also protecting human rights and well-being.
So it's not about stifling progress,
No,
but about making sure that progress benefits everyone.
exactly. And that's something I think we can all agree on here at AI for the People.
Yes, definitely.
Mhm.
Don't forget to follow us at AI for the People and let us know what you think in the comments.
Right.
What about the EU's AI Act?
Well, the EU's AI Act goes a step further. It actually sets legal requirements for certain AI systems, particularly high-risk ones.
High risk, like what? Give me an example.
Sure, AI systems used in healthcare
Okay.
or in the criminal justice system for making sentencing recommendations.
Yeah.
These systems can be very helpful,
Yeah.
but they also have the potential to do a lot of harm if they're not developed responsibly.
So the EU is trying to set some ground rules to make sure those high-risk AI systems are used ethically. But what do you think? Is regulation like this a good thing? Or does it stifle innovation?
Well, there are valid arguments on both sides. Okay. Some people argue that strict regulations will make it too difficult and expensive to develop new AI technologies. But others say regulation is absolutely necessary to protect people from potential harm.
So it's a balancing act.
It is.
We want to encourage innovation,
Yeah,
but not at the expense of people's well-being.
that's right.
It's interesting how this whole conversation about AI ethics keeps coming back to the human element. It's not just about the technology.
Yeah.
It's really about how we as humans are going to use it.
You're right.
So what do you think, listeners? How can we make sure AI is used for good?
That's a great question.
Hit that subscribe button and share your ideas with us in the comments.
I think we're all in this together, figuring it out as we go.
Yeah.
And having these conversations is the first step towards building a future where AI benefits all of humanity.
Well, let's zoom in a bit. We've got some material here about a case involving IBM's Watson for oncology. This was a system designed to help doctors make treatment decisions for cancer patients.
Yes, I remember that.
But it didn't go exactly as planned, did it?
It didn't.
In some cases, Watson was recommending unsafe treatments.
Oh, wow.
And all because it was trained on bad data.
Oh, that's really worrying.
It is, yeah. And I think it's a good example of how the intention can be good to use AI to improve healthcare in this case.
Right.
But the execution can be flawed.
Yeah.
Especially if the data is bad.
It highlights the importance of data quality.
It really does.
And transparency. Doctors need to know where the information is coming from if they're going to trust a system to help them make these decisions.
Transparency is key.
Yes.
So that brings us to another concept that we have some info on here. Explainable AI.
Explainable AI, right?
XAI.
Yeah. What is that?
What exactly is that, and why is it important in this whole ethics conversation?
Well, XAI is all about making AI systems more understandable to us humans.
Okay.
So we can actually see how an AI arrived at a particular decision.
So instead of just spitting out an answer, it explains its reasoning.
Exactly.
And that's important for building trust.
Absolutely, and accountability.
It is. If we can't understand how a system works, how can we trust it to make big decisions?
Right. Imagine a judge using an AI to help determine a sentence. But the AI can't explain how it came to that conclusion.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
Not very reassuring.
No.
Transparency is crucial, not just for building trust,
Right.
but for identifying any bias or errors in the system.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got diverse development teams to avoid bias. We've got high-quality data to ensure accuracy.
Yes.
And we've got XAI to provide transparency.
Right.
Is there anything else we need to think about when it comes to AI ethics?
Well, there's one more big one we need to discuss.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
It gets to the heart of how we interact with AI in our everyday lives.
It's the concept of individual responsibility.
Individual responsibility.
Yeah, as
Okay.
AI becomes more widespread, it's going to be more and more important for each of us to understand how these systems work and to use them responsibly.
You know what? Sometimes it feels like this AI stuff is happening out there,
Yeah.
in the tech world, but it's really impacting all of us right here, right now.
It is. You're absolutely right. It's not just about research labs and government agencies.
Yeah.
It's about the choices we make every day.
So give me some examples. What does that look like in practice? What can I do to be a more responsible AI user?
Well, for starters, we need to be more discerning about the information we see online.
Okay.
AI algorithms are already shaping what we see
Right.
and what we don't see, creating filter bubbles that reinforce our existing biases.
That's true. It's so easy to get stuck in those echo chambers.
Yeah. And it's not good for critical thinking.
No, it's not.
So being aware of how those algorithms work and actively seeking out different perspectives is really important.
So it's about being active and engaged
Yes.
and not just passively scrolling through our feeds.
Exactly.
And I think that same critical thinking applies to all our interactions with AI in general.
I agree.
Whether it's a chatbot or a recommendation algorithm,
Right.
we need to remember that they're just tools
Right.
and they have limitations.
I do.
Just because a machine says something doesn't make it true.
Absolutely.
We still need to use our own judgment and our own common sense.
I like that, our own common sense.
Yeah, and if you see an AI system that seems biased or unfair, don't be afraid to say something.
Yes. Report it. Share your concerns.
Right. We have a voice, and we need to use it to make sure AI aligns with our values.
Exactly. And if you want to share your thoughts with us,
Yes.
you can find us at AI for the People.
Right. We want to hear what you think.
We do, because at the end of the day, the future of AI is not predetermined. It
Oh.
depends on the choices we make.
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah.
So as we continue this conversation, let's keep in mind that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI.
Absolutely.
But before we dive into that, let's take a look at some of the regulations and frameworks that are being developed.
Okay.
How about we start with the EU's AI Act? That seems to be getting a lot of attention lately.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's trying to set global standards for responsible AI.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty, can you give us a quick overview?
Yeah.
Like, what's the main point of the AI Act?
Well, at its core, the AI Act wants to regulate AI systems based on their level of risk.
Hmm.
It classifies AI systems into 4 different risk categories,
Okay.
with the strictest rules applied to the high-risk systems.
So the riskier the AI, the more rules it has to follow.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. Can you break down those categories for us?
Sure, so at the top we have unacceptable risk.
Unacceptable risk.
These are AI systems that are just too dangerous.
Okay.
They pose a clear threat to human safety or fundamental rights.
So, like, what? Give me an example.
Think of those social scoring systems.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ones that use AI to rank people based on their behavior,
Okay.
or AI-powered manipulation techniques?
Right.
The AI Act completely bans these applications.
Wow. So unacceptable risk is a hard no.
Yeah, a hard no.
What's next?
Next, we have high risk.
High risk.
These systems could have a big impact on people's lives,
Hmm.
but they don't pose that same existential threat as the unacceptable risk category.
Okay.
So these are systems like those used in healthcare, or
Right.
transportation,
Yeah.
law enforcement, education.
Okay, so important stuff, but stuff that could go wrong
Exactly.
if it's not handled carefully.
Things like diagnosing patients or controlling self-driving cars.
Right. So high stakes.
Yes.
So what kind of rules apply to those high-risk systems?
Well, for those, the AI Act says they need risk assessments,
Okay.
data quality standards, human oversight,
Right.
transparency requirements.
So basically you have to prove that they're safe
Yes.
and reliable
Yes.
and use ethically.
That's right. And you have to prove it before you can use it in the EU.
Okay, so unacceptable risk is a hard no.
Right.
High risk is proceed with caution.
Yes.
What about the other two?
The next category is limited risk.
Limited risk.
These systems pose very little risk to people.
Like what?
Think spam filters,
Okay.
chatbots,
Right.
video games.
Okay, so stuff that's mostly harmless.
Yeah, even if it malfunctions, it's not a big deal.
Right.
For those, the AI Act mostly focuses on transparency.
Okay.
Users need to know they're interacting with an AI.
So no hiding behind the curtain.
Right, exactly.
What about the final category?
That one's minimal risk.
Minimal risk.
These systems pose virtually no risk at all,
Okay.
like simple calculators
Okay.
or weather apps.
Got it. Stuff that's been around forever.
Yeah, basically.
No special rules for those, I imagine.
No, they're free to develop and use however they like.
So the EU AI Act is like a tiered system.
Is
More regulation for the higher risk systems. Less regulation for the lower risk ones.
Exactly.
It sounds pretty thorough. What are they hoping to achieve with all of this?
Well, the main goal is to promote trust in AI
Mm.
and to make sure it's used for good.
Okay.
By setting clear rules and standards,
Nice.
they want to foster innovation but also protect people.
So it's like we want the benefits of AI, but we don't want to lose our humanity in the process.
I like that. That's a good way to put it.
It's a tough balance to strike.
It is.
You know, this conversation about the AI Act reminds me of something we talked about before,
What's that?
the importance of individual responsibility.
Yes, it's not just about government setting rules.
Right.
It's about each of us being aware of AI and making good choices.
What do you think about the AI Act, listeners? Is it too much regulation? Not enough? Share your thoughts with us in the comments.
We want to hear from you. We're back and ready to jump back into our AI ethics conversation.
Yeah, it's been a fascinating one so far.
It has. And, before the break, we were talking about the EU AI Act.
Right, that big piece of legislation.
Exactly. And, it makes you wonder what the rest of the world thinks about it.
Yeah, has it been well received?
It's a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think it's great, a model for other countries to follow.
Right.
They praise the EU for being proactive.
Makes sense. Somebody's got to take the lead.
Right. But there are also concerns, of course.
Oh, yeah, about what kind?
Some people worry about overregulation and what that'll do to innovation.
Yeah, I can see that point, too. It's a tough balance, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, we want to protect people, but we don't want to stifle progress either.
Exactly. And, it's still early days for the AI Act.
Right.
I'm sure it'll change over time as we learn more.
It's a work in progress.
Just like the whole field of AI ethics.
Well said.
Another big piece of this puzzle we need to talk about is diversity
Diversity.
in AI
Oh,
development.
yeah, we touched on that with the Amazon example.
It did, but it's worth exploring a bit more.
Okay, so remind me, why does it matter who's building the AI?
Well, we saw AI systems can reflect the biases of their creators.
Hmm.
So if you have a bunch of people from similar backgrounds all with the same perspectives,
Yeah.
you're likely to end up with those same biases in the technology.
Right. It's like you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly. You need different viewpoints.
Catch those blind spots.
Precisely, having diverse teams is crucial for making AI that's fair and equitable.
It's not just about being politically correct.
No, not at all.
It's about building better AI.
More robust, more ethical AI.
AI that benefits everyone.
That's what we're all about here at AI for the People.
Exactly. Don't forget to follow us at AI for the People for more on this topic.
Okay, so let's switch gears for a bit
Okay.
and talk about something else that's fascinating to me.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What is it?
How technology and morality intersect.
Ooh, that's a big one.
It is a big one, but an important one.
It is. So break it down for me when we talk about technology and morality. What are we really talking about?
I think we're talking about the values we put into our technologies.
Hmm.
AI systems aren't neutral.
Right.
They reflect our beliefs, our assumptions, our priorities.
So you're saying that as we build more and more advanced AI, we're basically embedding our own morals into these systems.
Exactly. And that brings up some big questions.
Yeah. Like where?
Whose values should we use? What happens when values clash? How do we make sure AI aligns with our ethics?
Those are some tough questions.
They are. It's like we're
Yeah.
building a new moral compass.
But we don't even know which way it's pointing.
Right. And that's why we need to have these discussions about AI ethics.
We can't just rush ahead without thinking about the consequences.
Exactly. So how do we navigate this? How do we figure out where technology and morality meet?
Right. It's complicated.
It is, but I think the first step is acknowledging that this is about more than just tech.
Okay.
It's a philosophical issue. It's an ethical challenge.
So we need to bring in more than just engineers and coders.
Absolutely. We need philosophers, ethicists, everyday people.
We need everyone.
Everyone who will be affected by these technologies needs a voice.
You know, this whole conversation about AI ethics is really a conversation about what it means to be human.
You're right. AI is a mirror.
Hmm.
It reflects our values and our hopes back at us.
I love that we're not just building machines, we're shaping our own future.
And that future is full of possibilities, both good and bad.
Yeah. But if we have these discussions and we ask the hard questions,
Yeah.
we can steer AI in the right direction.
In a direction that benefits everyone.
That's a message I think we can all get behind here at AI for the People.
So what do you think, listeners? Where do technology and morality intersect for you? What values should be in our AI? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.
And you can also find us on social media at AI for the People.
We always love hearing your thoughts.
Now let's take a look at how all this plays out in the real world.
Okay.
We've talked about some examples where AI went wrong.
Like the Amazon recruiting tool.
Yeah, and the IBM Watson for oncology.
Yeah. Right. Those showed how AI can have good intentions but still go bad.
But are there any examples of AI being used ethically?
Oh, absolutely. There are lots of great examples.
Okay, tell me about those.
AI is being used to help people with disabilities, to create personalized learning experiences,
Okay.
even to fight bias in hiring.
Wow. So AI can be a force for good.
It can't. These success stories are important.
Yeah.
They show that ethical AI is possible.
It's not just a dream.
Right. It's something we can actually achieve.
But it takes effort.
It does. And it goes back to that idea of individual responsibility.
Right.
We all have a part to play.
Even if we're not AI experts.
Exactly. Every time we use an AI system, we're making a choice.
Mhm.
We're supporting a certain kind of AI.
So we should think about the companies we support,
Yes.
the regulations we advocate for,
Right.
and how our own data is being used. Powerful stuff. We're not just watching this happen. We're shaping it.
The choices we make today will have a lasting impact.
So as we move forward, let's remember that AI ethics is a journey.
Not a destination.
It's a process of learning and adapting.
And we're going to make mistakes along the way.
But that's okay. We can learn from them
We can. And we can adjust our course as we go.
and keep moving in a direction that aligns with our values.
And as we go, let's not forget to ask the tough questions.
Yeah.
To challenge assumptions, to demand better from these technologies.
Because the future of AI is not set in stone.
It's up to us to write it.
And if we do it right,
Yes.
if we put people first,
Right.
AI has the potential to be a force for good in the world.
It does. It really does.
So listeners, what do you think? What's the future of AI? How can we make sure it's ethical? What role will you play? Let us know in the comments and subscribe to AI for the People for more deep dives like this one.
And you can find us on social media at AI for the People.
We'd love to hear from you.
We've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we?
Yeah, we really have. I mean, we've talked about the potential benefits of AI, but also the risks. The ethical dilemmas,
Challenges.
all the challenges and how we can try to deal with them.
Exactly. We talked about diversity and data quality and the need for transparency.
And we even got into the weeds a bit with the EU AI Act,
Yeah, that was interesting.
trying to set some ground rules for the whole world.
But one thing that really sticks with me is this idea of individual responsibility.
I do.
It's easy to get caught up in the big picture.
Right.
But the truth is, the future of AI depends on the choices we make every day.
Absolutely. So let's talk about what all this means for you,
Okay.
the listener.
Yeah, let's get practical.
How can you navigate this AI-driven world ethically?
Give us some concrete examples. What can we actually do?
Well, first of all, just be aware of how much AI is already influencing your life. Think about the news you read online,
Right.
the things you buy.
Yeah.
The apps you use, AI is probably involved in all of that.
It's kind of scary how invisible it's become. It is, and that's dangerous because it makes it easy to forget that AI systems aren't neutral.
Right, they're designed by people.
Exactly. They're trained on data collected by people, and they reflect the biases of those people.
So we can't just blindly trust them.
No, you need to be critical, ask questions.
Like what kind of questions?
Where did this information come from? Oh, who made this algorithm? What are the biases?
So it's like being a smart shopper.
Yes, but not just for things you buy for information, too.
Be a critical consumer of information.
Exactly. And that same critical thinking applies to all AI systems. Whether it's a chatbot or a self-driving car.
Don't just blindly trust.
Don't just trust question everything.
They're tools.
Exactly.
They can be helpful,
Right.
but they're not perfect.
And if something seems wrong, if you see bias or unfairness,
Yeah.
speak up. Report it.
We need to hold these companies accountable.
We do. We have a voice, and we need to use it.
And if you want to share your thoughts with us,
Yes, please do.
you can find us at AI for the People.
We really want to hear what you think.
Because, like you said before,
Yeah,
the future isn't set in stone.
it's not. We get to shape it.
It's both exciting and a little scary, isn't it?
It is. It really is. We have a responsibility to get this right.
So as we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with something to think about.
A call to action.
Yeah. What do you think about the future of AI? How can we make it ethical? What role do you see yourself playing?
These are important questions, and we need to keep asking them.
The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be.
And you're not alone in this.
There are so many people working to make AI a force for good.
So join the conversation.
Share your thoughts. Make your voice heard.
The future is in our hands.
That's a powerful message and a great place to end this deep dive, I think.
I agree. It's been a great conversation.
So until next time,
Stay curious.
and keep asking the tough questions.